we're going to do establish a quorum. Happy New Year's, everyone. Just wanted to say that for you. And it looks like we have Fred, Pete, Charlene, also Jim, Larry, and Tanya. Now I'm just saying everybody that's here for that. And of course, right now we have one guest on here right now, Mark Tefano. For those of you guys who don't know, is joining us from England. So he's 5 hours ahead of us today, joining us from England. Okay. Did I miss anybody?
I'm here.
Got you, Jim. Thank you.
I know why I don't have the video. I have a new camera, so that's what I don't know what's going on.
Oh, for Jack.
Jack,
yes,
do you have a cover on that camera?
Oh, hello.
There we go.
Check that out.
Who said that? Oh, how silly.
That is incredible. Wow.
I mean, it's brand new for me.
Well, it works.
It works.
Definitely works. Okay, so it looks like we do have a quorum with everybody that's here. I think I said Pete also. And then, of course, our representative with Tanya. Perfect. Okay, so we got a quorum. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance as last time. So if you guys want to join me and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Mark.
Okay, so from here, if you guys want to put your speakers on mute, Pete is going to go ahead and give us a moment of reflection.
Okay, I just wanted to talk a little bit about soldier suicide, veteran suicide. So on the home frontier is where most veterans deal with this battlefield at home after war. So when they come back from war, they usually have a lot of issues, especially that I've seen from Iraq and Afghanistan. And some of you have experienced this. And I think one of the hardest parts of war is actually coming home. I left last time I went to Iraq was 2010. And when I left Iraq, I was no longer with my support system every day, my soldiers and my fellow non-commissioned officers. And these were brothers and sisters that understood where I was coming from. A lot of you have heard the number 22. So there's an estimated 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. That's one every 65 minutes. So within this meeting, we will probably have 2 veterans that commit suicide in the United States. A veteran is 1.5 times higher. They have a higher rate of committing suicide than a non-veteran. So what I really want to do is just have a second and just kind of remember these veterans that we've lost due to the battles that they're fighting at home, due to the battles that they're fighting in their minds, and just some of the things that they're having to deal with. Okay, so if you could just have a moment of silence with me. Okay, thank you very much. Just the last thing, I've lost 6 soldiers that were in my platoon since Iraq, since 2010. And, these are soldiers that we still called, we still stayed in contact with, but a lot of you are very connected in the veteran community. So just remember to call somebody, reach out to somebody, check on them, and ask them how they are doing. But just really ask them how they're doing.
That was very, very touching, very moving, and it's right on time, especially after the holidays there, Pete. So thank you so much for that one. I think a lot of you guys saw lately, and I still don't know what the outcome is, but there were two female soldiers in Fort Bliss in San Antonio, Texas, that apparently lost their lives this past week also. So we'll keep them in our prayers also. And to the end that also, if you guys remember, we did talk about Bill Campbell losing his son last month. I tried to reach out to him, left him a couple of voice messages, but have not heard back from him. So if anybody knows him personally, maybe to try to reach out to him. You remember he's in the plantation estates over there, so it's kind of hard to get in there. But I have yet to hear anything back from him the two times I tried to call him and sent him a voice message, text. Okay, so introductions of guests. Tanya, anybody besides Mark Tefano joining us from England?
Oh, Mark is the only one so far tonight.
Thank you very much. We'll move along and go to the approval of the minutes. So Charlene sent the updated minutes out yesterday. I'm pretty sure that everybody got a chance to read them. If not, the only addition was the one of the guest members that from that last meeting that was not added. Anything else you want to say about the minutes there, Charlene? You're on mute.
There we go. Okay. Hope they were all okay. No, I don't have anything. I had sent them out earlier, and then we had left Jim Taylor off, so that's why they went back out again.
So thank you so much for that. So if I can get a approval for the minutes. Okay, everybody, if anybody.
You have to do it verbally.
Pardon?
You have to do it verbally, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
We need a motion and a second, and then we need a roll call vote. Each person needs to vote individually.
Okay, so I motion that we approve the minutes from our last meeting on the 2nd of December.
I second it.
Okay, got that.
Let's go, Pete.
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
And I think Mike Vento is online. So Mike, if you want to go ahead and chime in also.
I just joined. It's bedtime for the kids, so I'm a couple minutes late. What are we voting on?
So we are voting on the approval of the minutes. Hopefully you saw the first set that Charlene sent out, and she sent up the update yesterday. So we're just going through the minutes for the approval of the minutes.
Aye.
And if you want, you can show us your beautiful face over there if you remember how to turn that on there, Mike. We haven't seen you in a while. So thank you for joining us, if you can get a chance. Okay, so we're going to move.
I also.
No, I didn't. I thought you did say aye, so I think we have everybody. Was there anybody that, thank you there. Was there anybody that we missed there, Tanya? I think we went through everybody.
Did Jack and Larry vote?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. Larry did and Jack seconded, if I remember right.
Doug, would it be helpful to you when we vote for me to call out the names?
That would be perfect.
Okay, I'll do that after you get motion and second. I'll call out the names for them to vote individually.
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so the minutes stand approved. So for unfinished businesses that we're going into right now, we'll start off with Jack and the Treasury report.
Okay. No change from last month, which means basically we have available funds, $4,648.26. That may change tonight after we go through a couple of things.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I know that during our executive meeting, we talked about the honor flight and the funding and the status of that. Larry, did you just want to give the guys a quick status of what we're doing with the honor flight, please?
If you go to the website and look at Queen City Honor Flight, you'll see that it's a little bit outdated. So I sent an email to Nico, and he responded to me. And he said they had a meeting in November, this past November. And as of right now, the honor flight that we usually do in the spring has been canceled. The May 2021 has been canceled. And he had nothing further at this time to find out, when the next one would go. Traditionally, it would be in October, but he's not sure. So I told him, okay, thanks. I appreciate the information, and we'll keep in touch with him. So all we know is it's not going this spring.
Larry?
Yeah.
Did he say anything about the funds that he has available?
I didn't ask him. As far as what, our funds?
Yeah, when we paid, we funded $900.
Right. I thought just in case we were going to get like a copy of that. Do we have a canceled check of sorts that we could just hold just in case? But no, I did not ask them, hey, don't forget we already contributed.
Okay, the canceled check, I forgot. I will call Lindsay to try and get a copy of that.
Okay, and then, so we'll kind of, we'll give them another couple of months before I get a hold of them to see if there's anything that's changed. And then we'll, once he gives us a thumbs up for when the next flight will be, do we already have are we already sending someone? Do we already have somebody in the queue?
What did I know of?
So my understanding from the last person that we were going to send, wasn't it some type of Army retired or prior military nurse?
It was my father. My father.
That's what I thought. I thought it was Pete's father.
I thought Peter and his dad.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
My father got approved by the Otter Flights.
That's what I thought. So that's our next individuals.
Perfect.
Hopefully you can make it. Hopefully that doesn't, hopefully they give us plenty of time. But that's where we stand. I guess we really won't know for sure because, it takes a lot of logistics and coordination to get a flight, a lot of contracts, a lot of liabilities. So I would imagine we're probably looking at the fall.
Perfect. That's understandable. I just wanted to make sure that I think if you remember from our executive meeting, we said that it was a $900 cost. We just want to make sure we don't lose that $900. So if we can make sure we have credit for that $900, that'll be great.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to Veteran of the Year plan and transition. So if you guys recall from last month's meeting, Fred and Jim graciously took over for the Veteran of the Year plan, sent them out the email with all the information. Just wanted to confirm from both Jim and Fred that they received that email. If you can give me a verbal.
Yes, Doug, I received it. The Veteran of the Year award criteria and the completed 2020 nominee forms.
Thank you. And Jim, did you receive that also?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it.
No problems. We got plenty of time. The one thing that I did notice when I looked at the town website under Mvac is that we still have the 2019 nomination form on there and the criteria. So if Fred and Jim, if you could take a look at it, we can always add the 2020, but I prefer if we can update the criteria and put in for the 2021 instead of having to update it twice. Take a look at it if you can. That's going to be my task for you guys, is to take a look at the Mvac homepage on the Matthews Town website and take a look at that and see if we can properly update that. That would be great.
Okay.
And then Doug, whenever it's finalized, if you can get it to me, this is Tanya, I can get it to Maureen to get posted on the website.
Perfect, Tanya. Thank you. And then I think one thing that we want to try to do is, as we move in here, we're still a little bit away from it, but for Fred and Jim, if you can give us like every other month an update on where we're at, just if we've updated anything, if we started reaching out to any of the military or not the veterans organizations, to see if we could start contacting some of those folks. So every other month, that way you guys can provide us with an update of where we're at with the Veteran of the Year plan. Does that sound reasonable?
It does.
Okay, so we'll expect.
Doug, I got one question though. So do we have a target? We should put a target as to when we want that new application put on the website.
Good question. So I'm hoping that with Fred and Jim, we can take the month of June to review it. They can tell us if they made any changes, and then we can post it after the month of January, and then post it after the February meeting.
Okay.
Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So it shouldn't take that much. It shouldn't take that much to take a look at it and make the few updates and changes with your information on the point of contacts and whatnot.
Okay.
Okay.
And Doug, in case you didn't see, Bill Campbell has now joined us as well.
Bill, thank you so much for joining us. Our thoughts and prayers still go out to you, Bill, over there, and we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, Doug. I'm still trying to get my picture to come up here, and just quickly let me thank you and other members for their thoughts and prayers during this time. They were certainly helpful to me and my family. I thank you.
You're very welcome there, Jim. Appreciate it. When you go to your bottom right, I think somewhere in there, Bill, is where you can click on there, and it'll say under, I guess, for the picture over there. I'm trying to find mine right now.
Mine's on the left.
In the bottom left. Yes, bottom left. It'll say stop or add video, and you can hit the video button to start your video. Okay, so we'll move along after that. So now we're to the banner project on Trade Street. So Jack and Peter, Jack, if you want to take the lead for that, please.
I'll get into that. Hey, Bill, don't worry about it. It took me months to figure this out. Don't sweat, buddy. And just to let you know, a couple minutes ago, when we started the meeting, my face wasn't there. Somebody says, well, did you take the cover off the camera? Oh, yeah. Anyway, don't feel alone. Okay, the banners. I got a lot of information on the banners. And I think some of y'all also have the same information. Okay, I've been talking to Roz, who's part of the town, okay? And she's in charge of, actually, she's administrator of this kind of stuff. And she corrected me that we Mvac have only 2 banners stored at Aaron Signs, 2 of the old banners that we got 5 years ago. Okay, and apparently we never had 4 banners hung at the same time. All right, that's like 4 or 5 years ago. All right, now there's only 3 locations because of construction going on in one of the other locations. But now there's only 2 locations for banners because one of the 3 is broken. All right, and is also possibly being moved as part of a construction project on Trade Street. All right. The other information is that as part of the town's banner procedures, no more than 2 locations for one event will be allowed for over the street banners, and may not be hung for longer than 2 weeks prior to the event. Okay, and so she and I were talking through emails, and I said, okay, more than likely the 2 events that we will ask for will be Memorial Day and of course Veterans Day, and she's waiting for me to get back to her after this meeting tonight to confirm that's what we want to do. All right. As far as the cost of the banners, they cost for 2 banners, and that's what I'm recommending. We only have room for 2 banners, okay, is $557.70 each. This is from Aaron Signs, or a total for 2 of $1115.40. So I'm suggesting we talk about that and vote on getting 2 banners, and as soon as we can okay that, then I can go back to Roz and I can do a check request for that. Okay. So that's where we are on the banners.
Okay.
$1115.40 for 2 banners.
That's the money. Pardon? Say that again.
I'm going to get $1115.40 for 2 banners.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm writing it down right. Okay.
Yep.
And these are the banners that they hang across the big banners that hang across the street over on like the end of Trade or what's that road?
Just
John.
like we had
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago. Exactly. And these are in accordance with the town's requirements and specifications for banners. These banners, Mike, they will be stored at Aaron, as they have stored all the other banners for the town, which makes it very efficient for us and the town. They will bring the banners to the town for them to put up, and then they'll go back to the town, pick them up, and put them back in storage. So this all makes sense to me to do it this way, and the town is in favor of doing it that way, obviously.
So that being said, Tanya, I know I sent you a couple of documents. I think one of them had a copy of the banner on there that Jack provided us. Can you post that so everybody can see what the banners are going to look like?
Hey, Larry.
What?
So Larry, I spoke with Kathy today at the Banner Company, and I mentioned the U.S. Marines being incorrect, U.S. Marine Corps, and she's, oh, no problem. My husband, a Marine, would have caught that anyway. So I said, well, please check all the other ones, make sure I'm okay.
So if everybody can see the banners now, we can send them out later, but there's a sample of the banner. Are there anything that you guys see that might need to change, or the order of the banner as you take a look at it now? We could send this out afterwards, but just as a quick look, we were considering putting the Mvac flag, but that is not a institution, so we're just going to leave them with the actual all of our main core elements there, which we have posted there.
Yeah, let me ask this, and this is a little silly, but did they in fact make this Space Force a separate? I read something that they have their own flag, and they're considered a separate force. Is that baloney, or is that true?
I believe you're correct.
Space Force?
Space Force is. I don't know.
I believe you're correct.
I really didn't pay a lot of attention till I just saw something, and they introduced their new logo, their uniform, their new flag, and they mentioned they were a separate service.
That's correct. They just had a 1-year anniversary.
I've heard that also, that the Space Force is now in existence, and also that the Merchant Marines have their own flag also.
So we'll have to do some research on that one, because Space Force, I've been out for quite a while, but when you're looking at it and you're talking about in the military, like PACOM, some of these things, I don't know if it's a command, but you're talking about an actual force. So yes, we definitely need to consider that, and if that's true, add that to the to this flag, to this banner.
Well, Michael, you heard that too, right?
I did. From my understanding, they are a separate branch. I don't know if they have fully been activated yet, though.
Yeah.
And then I have a question too about the order. I could be wrong. Shouldn't POW follow the USA flag and then start with the branches?
Any comments?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
The POW would go at the end. That's correct.
It would? Okay.
Yeah.
And I know the order is right. Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force. That's right. So.
And it's just, as you, like I said, it should be U.S., in keeping with the rest, U.S. Marine Corps is the way it should be printed out.
Yeah, that'll be corrected. They will provide us, as you can see, it's not all straight and narrow. I mean, as far as like U.S. Army is a little bit to the right, okay, and that's because of what I did on Excel. But they will come back to us with what they will do for us, and they will show us their drawing, okay?
Okay.
Like I said, I asked them to make sure that all the names are correct, like U.S. Marine Corps, okay? And so, yeah, we will get a look at this before it's printed. I mean, before it's made.
Okay, beautiful.
Here is excuse me. The whole point here is to say, is this what we want to do? And if so, should we go ahead and order this, or do we want to wait more about the Space Force? Whatever. It's up to you guys.
You know what might look cool is if it's just the flag and no letters under it. So like the top, you have Matthews salutes our active military and its veterans, and then just the flags under it. No U.S. Army, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Navy.
Well, the negative about that is, I mean, it's a good idea, but the negative about that is that the quote, normal citizens, non-service related, would not know who the flag represents.
So 2 comments on that. I understand what that one, and we could take the letters off. Most of them have it written in the banner, the flag itself, Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. But regardless of, how well are you going to see that above and on top over there? I think the letters on the top, salutes our active military and its veterans, is prominent. And the other thing too, Jackie, you're mentioning that there's 2 sites that we can currently hang them. A third one's being repaired, and the 4th one under construction for the place where it's there. Did we want to consider, since we have one of the old banners, that we can put up there? Did we say that we wanted to get possibly one now and then order the other one if it's no additional cost, or if we're not getting them at a discount for ordering two? That's one of the things that I wanted to bring up before we devote, since we only have $4,600 left in there. Do we want to go ahead and do one or two banners at this time?
Okay, one of my first questions with whomever I talk to as far as vendors is, okay, if I have two, that's fine. If I order four, what's my discount? Okay, with this company, it's the same. You order one, two, or five, it doesn't matter. It's the same price.
Right. So maybe we should make a vote on whether or not we first, or do we want to do flag, and secondly, do we want to do one or two? Because I agree with Doug. I don't think we need to vote but one, since we already have the other flags. I want to make sure they get used also, or I mean the other banners. I want to make sure they get used also. So I'm in agreement with you, Doug. We already have something to put up. We only have two spots to put them.
Jack, can you remind us what the other banner had on it, please?
Shirley, help me with this. It said, you had our back. Now we've got yours. That's basically what it said. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we get to the 1 to 5 year discussion plan in the new business, I want to bring this back up, so that'll give us a few minutes to think about it. So when we do bring that up, consider, guys, the banner, the way it looks now, adding Space Command, Space Force, and then if we want to get one or two. So we'll do a vote at that time later on during the meeting. But while we're talking about that, we'll go through the rest of our possible projects and investments, so that we can make an assessment of the funds that we have available. So please keep that in your mind as we get ready to discuss the new business for the banner cost and how many, and if we want to go ahead and approve that or not. Anything else to add, Jack?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so we're going to return right back to you for the plaque of the Veterans Memorial.
Very good. Mark, you want to come in on this one? Mark, you there? Okay, that's fine. Just make sure you correct me if anything's incorrect. Okay, the plaque. It's a bronze plaque. The plaques you currently see, other than World War I, okay, are not bronze. They're faux bronze. Okay, and that was done to show a complete memorial, as it will be in the near future. So what we're looking at is the World War II plaque. We have World War I. We look to donate to the World War II plaque or have it paid for by Mvac, and that cost is $1,131.50. And that's the proposal here. Oh, let me also say that the banners or anything that Mvac buys or purchases through the town, most of the time we're charged taxes, the sales tax, but let it be known that once a quarter or once a year or half a year, the town goes back with a special format to the North Carolina government, and they get back the taxes they paid. So just to let you know that it's not totally, but we don't get credit for it, Mvac. So, but we're still spending our budget. Okay. So let me back up. Okay. So the World War II plaque is $1,131.50, and that's what we want to talk about tonight. If we want to go forward with that, Mvac helping with the veterans in the town of Matthews.
Okay, so just let me add on to that. Last meeting that we had, we actually showed the memorial that the American Legion put out in Stumptown Park, and it showed you what the actual, what was it, 4 or 5 memorials that we actually have out there?
It was 6. It was World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan, which is terrorism.
Okay, so after the meeting, we'll send out a picture of that location. Once again, the plaque goes on top of those granite-based memorials, and that's where the cost is coming in, because those are brass plaques, as you were saying, Jack?
No, they're not brass.
Bronze?
Pardon?
Are they bronze?
Yeah.
Bronze, yes, bronze.
Right, so that is expensive, and it's something that we talked about in the December meeting, and that we're talking, once we got the cost, that we will look to possibly put that into our 1 to 3 year plan, if we're going to call it that, to see if we can help support the monument from here on out. So we have that also under consideration tonight, would be the $1,131 for that. So as we get ready to do the vote later on for these two items, we have the banner at $560 and the plaque at $1,131, which is a total of almost $1,700 of our $4,600 right now. So that'll take us down to about $3,000. So again, I just want to make sure that we're considering this when we get ready to vote a little bit later. Okay. So we will take a vote on those two items later during the meeting.
Can someone refresh my memory? What is the town's fiscal year again?
It's July 1st to June 30th.
Okay, so we have till July to spend this money, or June 30th.
That's correct.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Oh, and Mike, I don't know if you were with us last time, I found out that our funds that we don't use do not go away. For Mvac, they carry forward into the next year. But the challenge with that is, will the town still award us $2,500 for a budget?
Yeah, it's not officially use it or lose it, but good chances use it or lose it.
Right.
Gotcha.
If you don't use it, you may not get more.
Yep, tracking.
We're looking at, yes. Okay, so those are the two things for under consideration when we get to the new business, please. Okay, so from there, we're going to move on to the recruiting of new committee members. So Tanya can help me out with this one, but she sent me an email earlier in the month. Lori and Maureen, I'm not sure. Maureen, can you tell us where Maureen is from there, please?
Maureen is the town's public information officer.
Thank you. Okay. So they had a discussion as far as recruiting of our new members. Remember that we're 2 down. I think we can have a total of 13. Our bylaws say anywhere from 5 to 13 members. So really we're above our quota for 5. We can go up to 13. One of the things that Lori and Tanya were talking about was, do we want to within the bylaws changes to make it a permanent number? Do we want to say, hey, 7 members or 10 members, so that we're not constantly going back and forth from one to the other to have a quorum, and or to try to fill the positions, because we're filling based on the maximum amount that we can have. But realistically, we already have sufficient people in the Mvac. Do we need more? I would like for you guys to consider. Do we need more based on activities that we have to hand out our not requirements, but tasks or anything of that nature? Do we have any comments out there on the amount of people? I know it's the first time you guys are hearing it, on the amount of people that we would like to see Mvac filled with, at the 5 minimum or the 13 max, or any number in between there. Floor is open. If we don't hear anything now, we'll put that in our notes so that we can make a vote on that or a decision on that for the next meeting. So we'll capture those in the notes. Again, I think the benefit of having more people is to distribute the action items or things, the tasks that we do on the annual basis. However, we are having problems fulfilling anything probably beyond 10. So we need to make a consideration. Do we want to keep it up to 13, or do we want to put it to a fixed number like 8 or 10 or something of that nature? If you guys can think about that, and Tanya, if you have any more comments on that, please.
Yeah, you're currently sitting at 11. So I wouldn't recommend, at this point at least, putting the number lower than that, because you don't have to kick anyone off the committee.
Right.
But it's something, if the committee does desire to have that a lower number, as people voluntarily roll off, you can change your bylaws to lower that number further if you wanted to.
Got it. Okay.
I think 5 to 13 is a good number.
I do too.
I think it's a good number. It gives you room for growth, and it also says that if you drop below 5, you can't have a committee. And our quorum is the percentage of how many people we have in it currently. Isn't that right?
Right.
Yeah, it's how many how many members you have. So right now that number adjusts as you add and remove members, as opposed
so the quorum isn't off of our maximum amount. It's off of how many we have of active members, I guess.
Right.
So it's not based on how many members we have at the meeting. If we have 11 members, then we have to have
6.
5 plus 1, right? Half of that and plus 1 or whatever it is.
I see 9 of us right now, and who are the other 2? Tom
and James Fuller, I have on your roster.
He was removed from the roster. He's not on my roster that I have. I think
Yeah, James, from my understanding, was removed. The only one that we're missing then I think was Tom, and I think we're at 10. So we'll confirm that.
Okay, then you're at 10 without James Fuller. The last roster I have is from August, and James Fuller's on it.
Okay, so we'll send you an updated roster.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for a quorum, we got to have half plus 1. Is that correct?
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're at 10, so we got to have at least 6 each time.
So I'll just pipe in and say I like 13 if we can get there. But to do a vote, all we need is half plus 1. So right now we're way over.
Yes, we are. Thank you and thanks everybody for joining us tonight. I know again, right after the holidays, that was difficult, so I appreciate everybody coming in here. So, okay, so we're good with that. We'll go ahead and confirm it for next meeting. It looks like we're looking at staying at where we're at with 13, but again, our bylaws say 5 to 13. Do we want to make it a permanent number and say 13? Or, what are the consequences if we go below 13? Then we got to constantly try to meet that number and recruit new committee members. That's going to be the hard part.
I personally agree with Peter. I think having a range gives us some flexibility. I don't see a need for any more than 13, but if we place it at that 13 number, that puts a lot of pressure on us to maintain that. Whereas, having that range, if we can keep it that way, I would say we just keep it that way.
Well, is there in fact pressure to get to 13? I mean, if somebody wants to join, we're good to go, but no one's saying, hey, or are they? Hey, you're supposed to have 13, you only have 10. Is there anyone in the town that cares besides us?
So the only reason this came up, Lori and I were having a conversation, and Mvac my understanding, Mvac is the only committee that doesn't have a clearly defined number.
Okay.
That has a range. So we discussed, I told Lori that I would bring it up to you all. Do you want to make it, you can leave it a range if that's what you want to do.
Is it a requirement to be a set number, or can it be a range?
It obviously can be a range since it is. I don't know, what the difference was with why MVAC got a range and everyone else got a set number. I'm not sure what the reasoning was behind that. But so you can leave it a range if that's what you choose to do.
But
hey, it's easy to do nothing.
Exactly. But what happens if we were to set 13 and then we don't have 13 right now? Are we said, okay, we got to find committee members, or is that okay?
No, it would be okay if you were getting your business done.
Okay.
The interest.
Yeah.
Okay, one other additional comment for that. We have 4 officers. So we have a chairperson, a vice chairperson, a secretary, and a treasurer. So those are the 4 officers. So 5 might be too low as a minimum. So we may want to raise that one up, because then you only got 1 member, and hey, we got all the officers. Let's throw all the crap onto Pete or something like that. So we probably want to make sure that we have.
Good job, Pete.
Yeah, so maybe we want to go up to like a minimum of 8 to 13. So that might, while we're considering it, we could raise the number. It's just that right now it says 5 to 13, but I think 5 might be too few, considering that we have 4 officers. So just give that some thought, and then we'll look at that so we can either change it or like you said, like Larry said, keep it the same.
If you go too high, though, then you face it where you can't have a committee anymore. So if you go through a time where you lose some people and you're kind of in transition, then you can't have a committee. If you drop, so if you say 8 and then you have 7, you can't have a committee anymore. That's just kind of the way I look at it.
That's something that Tanya would have to say to us, because I'm not sure how the other committees, if they say 8 or 10 and they don't have that amount of members, is their committee null and void, or what happens at that point, Tanya?
It's not null and void at this point, but again, the difference is they don't have a range; they have a set number, and if they're not, if they don't have their full committee, they don't have their full committee, and they just recruit from members. But since Mvac has a range, Peter could have a valid point. I'd have to check that out and see. I could do that and have the information for the next meeting.
Thank you. We'll wait for that then. I appreciate it.
Let me ask this real quick. Tanya, has anybody else had an issue, just like we were talking, like Doug just said, though, about having officers? Do they all have officers on their committees also? And if so, is it like it's so many members plus the officers?
I'm not sure how their numbers were set, and it's I believe they all are different numbers. It's not like every other committee's set at 9.
Okay.
It's varying, and there probably is some consideration for what positions are officers versus just regular members.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so with that, let's go into the next item. We got the comments. Any additional items from the town council liaison, Tanya?
The only other thing I would put back out there is I asked you all a couple meetings ago about collaboration with some of the other town boards. You have already done so with the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Committee on the renaming of Stumptown Park. On that note, Maureen did put something out on the town Facebook page about the renaming of Stumptown Park, and there's been some interesting comments from some of the members of the public. So I don't know how many of you are Facebook users. If you want to hop out to the Town of Matthews Facebook page and take a look at those comments, because some of those same people may show up at your joint meeting where you're going to discuss and get the public input about the renaming of Stumptown. So if there's any other committee, if you've looked at the list, if there's any other committees you think you're interested in maybe working with, just let me know and I can make that connection for you.
I'm actually not on Facebook. I'm curious as to what you're hearing. It's just comments on both for and against, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it really is. Jim Taylor got on there and kind of, he seemed kind of indifferent at our meeting the other week, or at least he did to me. But he kind of staked his claim that he's against renaming the park. And then there's just some back and forth. There's some people that say, the park is used for more than just the section that's for veterans, so it shouldn't be renamed and we're getting rid of history. And others say, we should honor our veterans because you all have served and protected us. So the least we can do is name a park after you. So it's really, it's about 50-50 with the comments.
So before we get too much more into that, that is one of our new items, renaming the Stumptown Park, and I do have quite a few comments on that one. So let's table that until we get to that portion of it. I thank you, Tanya, for mentioning that. I think as our committee in working with Parks and Recreation, we're one of the first ones that stepped up to the plate and again, at our last meeting, bringing those folks to our meeting and giving us some of the history and background on the parks and the Veterans Memorial Park or what they planned on doing. So we will tag team with them, and that's going to come under the second new item. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there. Okay. Any other comments there, Tanya?
Nope, that's for me. It for me.
Thank you. Okay, and then we also got comments from Mvac members and visitors. So Mark, you're on here today. Any additional comments from Mr. Tofano, who's visiting us from England once again? Okay, any other permanent type comments that we need to do before we go into the new business from anybody? Okay, we'll go into new business. So I did send an email out probably at around 4:30 this afternoon. If you haven't seen it, you can either pop into it or not. It shows the work that Jack has put together for a a business plan, if you want to call it that. So can you show us the business plan, Tanya, and bring that up on the screen? We're not going to go too deep into it, but what I wanted to show you guys is what Jack had put together, and he's going to explain a little bit more, but I just wanted to give you a quick outline of it. On the left side, it says business plan. That's a sample that he used from prior. We are not a business organization, so I don't think we need to get to that detail or that in depth. We're not a business, or we're just a committee, but he brings a lot of good points, and I kind of try to tie those to what he put on the right side. So I did do some editing and took a look at it, and we do want to do the whole reason this came about is because we want to do a 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 year plan as far as investments and projects and that type of thing. So I don't know if this is the right name or not, but instead of calling it a business plan, since we don't have furniture, offices, and all that kind of stuff, if you look at the business part of it, the Mvac portion of it is more of a operating plan, strategic plan, or we can just call it a 1 to 3 year or vision plan or whatever it is. But when you look at that there, it shows, give me 1 second here. You can scroll down through there a little bit more, Tanya, on the ongoing objectives. So on the top part, he did an absolutely great job of the Mvac mission. So he took those excerpts, and I was able to find those and tie them to each one of the ones that he mentioned on there. When we go down to the ongoing annual objectives, those are the kind of things, instead of a business plan, it's what we want to do as a committee, so we're not just spinning our wheels and having a meeting every month talking about the same old things. So we want to kind of see our vision, if you want to call it that, so our annual objectives. What I did is I took a quick look at it, and they all look great. I think the number 4 item where it says support Matthews Hook and Oar American Legion Post, of course we want to do that, but we don't want to specifically in an objective mention a particular organization. So I thought more of a local veterans and service organizations. And then as we go down a little bit further where you see the projected expenditures, that's where we can say, hey, number 2, for the Veterans Memorial in Stumptown Park, support the Matthews Oar and Hook American Legion Post 235. That's something specific for an objective project versus on the top where we're just supporting a military service organization. It doesn't have to specifically be the American Legion. If you go back up just a little bit, I think I also marked off under the ongoing annual objectives, develop a 3-year strategic operation plan. I prefer to kind of just label ours a 3-year strategic operating plan, a 5-year operating plan, and call it that versus a business plan. So this is our first attempt at looking at it. If you scroll down just a little bit further now, please. We look at 20, not that far, the red area over there, 2021 to 2022. These are some of the things that we would probably be looking at now, and that's why I wanted to hold it for here to take the vote on the funding and some of the things that we're going to be doing. So if you look at the banners, they're approximately $560 each. I think he raised it up a little bit. It was $557. So for each, we can do 2, we can do 1, but at least we got the cost there. The plaque, 1,115. The honor flight that we have a credit of is in there. And we also have one of the discussions that we talked about last time was, hey, do we ever think of anything like a scholarship that we would want to ask the town to support for like a ROTC scholarship or something of that nature? These are just some of the projects and ideas that we've come up with, and Charlene came up with the scholarship one, which was a great idea. So this is something that I sent out to everybody, and these are just the proposals. We would probably take a look at it, and from our committee members here, take a look and say, hey, you know what? I got an idea. So we can either change the order or add more to them, and just to make sure that we don't go over our budget. But this way it gives us something to work towards to see if we can continue to make benefits of the budget that we have. So I know this is the first time that you guys are taking a look at it, but again, Jack did a great job putting that on one side. I think we want to take out the business plan. He just gave examples of what they put in there for everything, and then come up with a 1 to 3 year business, what I call it, strategic plan or operating plan or whatever we want to call it. So any thoughts and ideas from your quick review on this thing? Okay, so with that said, this is the place where I would really like to take a vote on the two items that we looked at earlier, the banner and the plaque. So I think I have to make a motion, or somebody has to make a motion on the banner. So I would.
Do we need to decide first if we're voting on one banner or two? I'm just going to insert a remark here that we've talked about the plaque being an ongoing something that we could do one this time, then one next time as a possibility. I'm going to propose that with the banner also, that we do one this time, then next year we want to add another banner. Since there's only so many spots, that then maybe by next year they will have fixed the third spot, so then maybe we do want two banners. But I'm going to propose that we need to decide how many banners first before we vote on buying the banners.
So I totally concur with you, and I can make a what do you want to call it?
Yes,
motion.
Do that.
So I'm going to make the motion and either yay or nay. So my motion for the number one would be purchase one banner to fly during selected holidays for the town of Matthews. That is my first motion at $560 each. So purchase one. And I think Tanya would have to go around to say yay or nay for all of us. If we have nays, then we can, or we have a comment, we can always purchase two. But right now, the motion is to purchase one with the funds that we have available for the upcoming Memorial Day and Veterans Day holidays.
And I second that motion.
Okay. All right. So then we'll go around and do a roll call. Fred?
Aye.
Charlene?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Michael?
Nay, I say we purchase two.
Okay. Bill?
Hang on now. I'm trying to make sure I get all this written down.
Okay. Charlene, if it gets approved, then it gets approved, but we'll keep Michael a no for now.
Okay. All right.
Bill?
Aye.
Peter?
Nay, I think we should buy two of them. The other banner, I mean, they look good, but they're outdated, and I just think just a straight, without the Veterans Advisory Committee, just a, hey, we appreciate your service kind of thing. Okay. And also the space, never mind.
Jim, how do you vote? Jim, you're muted. You're muted. There you go. What were you saying?
Got two. I think we ought to get two.
Okay, so you're a no as well?
Yeah.
On one? Okay.
Ooh.
And Doug, you're a yes, correct? So 1, 2.
Hey, Larry?
Who was your second person you asked?
That was you.
Okay. Who was the
Fred was first, and then you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fred was a yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Fred's yes. You're yes. You got it?
Yeah. Yep. Larry's yes. Michael's no. Peter's no. Jim is no. I guess Doug is a yes.
And Jack. Did you get Jack?
No. We don't have Jack.
Hold on. Jack keeps dropping off. I think Jack might be having some problems. Let me see if I can get him. He's back in the waiting room. Let me see if I can get him back in the room. I think he may be having some technical issues. Jack, are you there? Jack, are you there?
He's not showing as a participant.
So let's hold off on that just a minute, because I know Jack was initially saying that for the cost of two, and what you guys are saying makes sense from Jim, Pete, and Mike to get two, because the other ones are outdated.
I don't have Bill's vote.
Bill was a
Bill
yes.
was a yes.
Okay.
So how do I go about that, Tanya,
So there were 3 no's and there's
4, you get 1, 2, 3, 5 yeses so far. Do I have that right?
So we need Jack's vote.
Okay. Can we rephrase it and do another motion, or do we have to, based on this motion that we made, make a decision?
Someone can do a substitute motion and vote on that. If there's a substitute motion, then this one kind of goes away unless the substitute motion fails.
So my recommendation, Jim, Pete, or Mike, if you want to go ahead and make a substitute motion and give me your motion, since you guys.
Peter, I'd like to make a substitute motion to buy 2 of the banners.
And I will second his substitute motion.
Okay, then we'll do a roll call vote on that.
Okay, hang on, motion. So Pete made a motion to buy 2 banners and Mike second that motion. Y'all give me a lot to write tonight. Okay,
right.
Let me get everybody's name down real quick, and that will make it easier for me to get the vote, okay?
Okay.
Please, thank you. Let's see.
This is Peter. I did some research on the Space Force too, and I got the answer for it.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and do that before we get into our next item then, Peter. Thank you.
Okay. Are you ready for the vote, Charlene? Okay, so Fred?
Nay.
Charlene?
No.
Larry?
No.
Michael?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Doug?
Wow, this is getting really tight over here. I'm going to say no, because we can always purchase one on an additional later date.
And Jack, can you hear us?
Again, he's not showing up as a participant.
Yeah, he's
I don't
in.
think he's here.
He's in as a panelist, but he's not.
I don't see him at all.
Oh, there's his face.
I'm back.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the vote?
So Jack, right now we're voting on whether, so we voted on whether we started voting on whether or not we were going to purchase one flag or one banner. And then there was a substitute motion to purchase 2 banners. So how do you vote on purchasing 2 banners?
And before, let me add on to that one also. On the first one, there was 3 nays. Mike, Peter, and Jim both wanted to purchase 2 instead of 1 because they believed they were outdated, the old banners. So we did a second one, and you're the last vote right now. And I think we had, can you say, Charlene, how many nays we had for the second one?
Well, the second one, it's 4 and 4. So Jack is the tying vote.
Yeah,
No pressure.
Whoa, okay.
Look at that power.
I tell you what, I was never impressed with the original banners. I won't go for 2.
But okay, now let me ask you this real quick, because Tanya, this goes but he wasn't there at the first vote, and if he would have voted no even at the first vote, the yeas would have had it.
But there's a second motion now. There's a second motion
Okay, so that replaces that. Is that how that goes, Tanya? Okay. All right.
Arlene, if you check your voicemail, I tried to call you, and I said I want 2 flags, 2 banners.
I missed it. Okay. Yeah, I did. Yeah. There you go. Sorry. Okay. I got you right here then.
Cool.
But okay. But even on the first vote, if he would have said, if that would have come in at the first vote, okay. I don't know. If he called before that second motion was made, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh, really testing me tonight, and I'm not sure.
I know that was a crazy one. So Zoom messes us all up. So okay.
Yeah, that was my question. We made a motion for 1, and then we were going through it, and then through there we had so many nays, and we were still waiting for Jack's, that we decided that we would go with the second motion to see if we wanted 2 flags. Again, because the 3 nays say that the other ones were outdated and antiquated. And so instead of approving 1, we can always approve the first motion for 1. And now we're going to the second motion to see if we actually want 2. I don't know how that works, Tanya.
I don't either. Wow. Okay. All the pressure's on me to figure it out.
I think what we needed was just a little more discussion on it and just make one vote, because I didn't realize that, you're kind of basing on, we're not going to fly the old banners anymore. So in my mind, I was thinking, well, maybe we'd fly one of each. But now if we're not going to fly the old ones, then, and we can do 2 spots, then I'm for 2. But are those old banners just, they can't be rehabbed or anything else? And
okay, let me address that, Larry.
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies. I should have mentioned this before. The note from Roz, it says that it doesn't sound like we need to purchase 2 banners. You can change the print on the 2 banners you already have. I need to contact them to create a brand new banner. Often the dates or some wording changed on the banners by our signs don't need to purchase new ones. But we're talking about a whole bunch of flags. Okay, so I don't know how we could put those flags on.
No.
So
I think what you're talking about is just, having the same thing with changing dates. We're actually completely changing the entire banner. Exactly. So I think that's shot.
So real quick, because I just want to, I think I was the first one to say no. So 1, I agree with Peter that the old flags are outdated, but 2, if we have only 2 places to put them, I would be in favor of 2 brand new flags. I like the flag design. It's consistent in my opinion. And I'll be honest, I don't like the slogan that's on the old one, the "You had our backs, we had now," or whatever it said. So that would be kind of and that would be my reasoning for the 2. And we have the money for it. And I don't, unless there's other things that we think we're going to spend this on. Yeah. But that would be my rationale. If that helps anybody to see where I'm kind of coming from personally on it.
Okay, I have another comment, if I may. Thanks, Mike. I agree with you and Peter. Going back to putting the names of the service under the flag. Okay, I was out and about today, and I was at one house, and the other house there was a U.S. flag, and there was a service flag. I know the Air Force flag. Sorry, I couldn't recognize it. It was the Army flag. Sorry, guys, but it was, and I didn't know that until I came back today to look on our picture of the banner we're going to have. Oh, that's what I saw today. It was the Army flag. But from 15, 20, 30 feet away, I couldn't tell. I knew it was a service flag, but I didn't know which one it was. So I'm going to go back and say I think we should put the name of the service under the flag.
Yeah, and I mean, that's fine because I had kind of said that was just me spitballing. That was just an idea. I'm not married to it, or I do think there should be 2 for the reasons that I listed, unless again there's something else that we were planning on spending this money on before July.
So if we go back to the beginning of this discussion, we did a motion for 1 that was approved 5-4. Now we're doing what did you call it, Tanya? A counter motion or a
substitute motion?
A substitute motion. So the substitute, all we're going to do now is we're going to get 1 from what we look like we got so far. Now we're looking for a substitute motion to see if we want to do 2 instead of 1. With that one, we had a 5-4 vote that in favor, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, we had 5-4 saying yes on 2 banners. So it looks like we have 2. Now, the only thing to me is Jack is going to be the cost. Would the cost go down since we already have 2 banners and we're just reprinting over the old banners? Would the cost go down because now we don't have the material that we have to do? All we got to do is the printing. I don't know if that's going to be effective, but at a minimum, at a max, it's going to cost us $560 plus 2, right? So whatever that was originally for the 2 banners.
You quoted $1,115.40 for 2 banners.
Correct. All right, I will go back to the banner company and check the question about can we redo the old banners, just to confirm yes or no. And if I find that we cannot do that, should I go ahead and have them go ahead and completely draw up the new banner and give me a correct accurate cost.
I think you already have the correct accurate cost, and I think we already made an agreement that we're going to buy one, and with the second substitute motion, 5 to 4, we're going to buy 2 of them, unless anybody sees it differently.
No, I see it that way, that we've already agreed to buy 2. If it comes up and it's cheaper than what it is, then so be it, but that's great. And if they can reuse and it's cheaper, but as long as it's not more than the 1,115, then we're all approved.
I smooth to give a veterans discount.
Actually, Michael, that number agrees with.
I was kidding.
The banner people on the flag, Condor flag people, who gave me a very similar quote with a discount. So yeah, the discount is in there.
Perfect.
Yeah, if it comes up that it's cheaper, then that's great. We don't have to have a new vote for that. We have voted and agreed. We're buying 2 banners to not exceed the cost of $1,115.40.
Perfect. Tanya, you got anything else to add to that as you administered the vote?
No, that's how I see it too. I actually did, just for future reference, I did look up Robert's Rules of Order right quick, and we also have the option to withdraw a motion.
Okay.
If we wanted to vote differently.
Okay.
We can always withdraw a motion and do that as well.
Good. I think
we categorized that the first vote was that we're going to buy a banner, and the second vote was that we're going to buy 2 banners.
Correct.
And those are yeses.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to put it in the minutes.
Yeah.
So looking at the last one here, we're still talking about the business plan. So this is the second motion that I would like to make, is that we, as the Mvac, purchase 1 World War II memorial plaque at the cost of $1,131.50. Can I get a second?
I second.
Charlene will do Jack seconded that.
Okay.
And then we'll tell me when you're ready and I'll do your vote.
All right. I'm ready. I think.
You ready? Okay. Fred? You're muted, Fred.
Sorry.
That's okay. How do you vote?
Aye.
Charlene?
Yes.
Larry?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Jim?
Yes.
Jack?
Aye, yes.
Peter?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
All right, there you go.
I knew how that one was going to go. So I wasn't so worried about all the names. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last item, unless we have any questions or anything. Again, the 1 to 3 year plan, strategic plan, operational plan is something for us to digest, and we will make. Hopefully, you have some comments. You can email them to all of us when you do that, and then we can make that up for the next meeting to determine if we want to do any additions and how we want to change that. So. Jack, as he did with this one, will take a look at the changes that we made. We'll put it into a Word document instead of an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. All this is a expenditure 1 to 3 year plan to see where our investments are going to. So look forward to any comments or changes to it from you guys.
Be very creative.
Okay, last item. We're a little over an hour, so I appreciate you guys still sticking around here. So it's the renaming of the Stumptown Park. So at the last meeting, you guys remember Corey came in and Howie, they briefed us on the parks. They briefed us on the possibilities of using different venues to have a memorial park. One of our concerns or questions was, why do we win it? Why did we go ahead in the town build and enhance the memorial that we have over there right now in Stumptown if they had visions or plans of doing another park with that name? So what I did was, so first of all, thanks to Tanya, she sent me an email that's notifying that the Parks and Recreation Committee, they're going to have a Zoom meeting on the 13th of January. So hopefully all of you guys are aware of that. If not, it's on there. It's on the website. They're going to have 2 meetings, one from 4 to 6 and one from 7 to 9 on the same day. And then there, you can request to speak at those meetings, but what I was envisioning is speaking as an MVAC chairperson, speaking in one voice. What I've done so far, I did take the announcement that they had and posted it to my Nextdoor account to get the word out. So I'm going to request that everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, again, this is to rename Stumptown Park to the Stumptown Memorial Veterans Park. So they're adding 2 words into it, okay? And they're going to they're getting public input. They're not going to make a decision, but they're going to get public input. All the input that we've had so far, of course, were majority, I would say 90, 95, if not more, from veterans. So they want to make sure that the rest of the town of Matthew is, what do you want to say, is in agreement with that. So it's a small community that we've talked to. And again, here's my thing. I want to go ahead and take a moment and speak to, when they open up this thing for the 4 o'clock and the 7 o'clock meeting, introduce myself as the chairperson, and as the chairperson, say a few things. We are not the body that's going to make the change to that. We are not the body that's going to, we're going to bring this to the mayor, but I want to bring it to the mayor with 2 committees, the Recs and Parks and the Mvac committee, with our recommendation. So it's not our approval, it's our recommendation. So my view of it, I wrote like 1 or 2 paragraphs that I would like to read. I'm going to read it to you real quick, see if it's on target, and I would take any suggestions or comments and I can send it to you. But again, we're not making a decision here. We're taking the town's input, and then we're going to, as 2 committees, make a recommendation to the mayor and to the town of Matthews. So my little paragraph will be something like to this. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Doug Rose, a fairly new resident of Matthews. I am the new chairperson for the Matthews Veterans Advisory Committee. I am honored, along with Larry Stanwicki. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Larry?
No N, Stowicki.
Stowicki, vice chairperson, to lead this committee in representing and voicing matters of interest from our service members, veterans, and families to the town of Matthews. With regards to renaming the Stumptown Park to Stumptown Veterans Memorial Park, we have received many emails from you supporting and requesting the name change. As the MVAC committee lead, we met with the Parks and Recreations Department in December and voiced your opinion. Corey King and Howard Lamberin briefed us on the park's history on the park's history, and I messed up somewhere in there, and provided other options for the Veterans Memorial Park, which even include another location. MVAC is not the group that will make the decision to rename the park or decide on another location. However, we will, in collaborations with the Park Recreations and Cultural Resource Committee, take your input and forward our recommendation to Mayor John Higdon. Whatever the outcome, I would like to express MVAC's appreciations to the Hook or American Legion's Post 235 for their Herculean effort in the town of Matthews Memorial Restoration Park project at Stumptown Park. Something of that to read to an introduction, that we are aware of it, and basically that we are here to hear your voice, and that with the outcome of this, we will make our recommendations along with the Parks and Recreation to the town of Matthews. Comments? So if you like, I have no problems of sending this out to you guys after tonight, tomorrow. I can send this to you. I'm not the great speechwriter or anything of that nature, and I would love for you guys to give me some comments if I'm on target. If not, give me some suggestions or comments. But again, all I want to do is let these guys know that we are not the decision-making body. All we do is make a recommendation. That's what we're here for, and I think we will do better doing it as a collaborative committee with Parks and Recreation, so under 2 voices instead of 1.
I do want to appreciate that you didn't make it sound like you were for or against it, because I don't feel like we should be coming forward and saying that we are for or against it as a collaborative group.
And I think that's the whole purpose of the open forum, is to get a public opinion and viewpoint, and then we take it from there. We've already got a lot of our veterans, especially from the plantation states and other places, saying, yes, we need to do that. But again, that's more of a veteran's voice than a town voice. And I think that's why Parks and Recreation is going to have this meeting. And one way or the other, whatever way they go, I think we want to support it. I don't think we want to say, yes, veterans, the Mvac says we want to rename Stumptown Park. We want to do what the town, get your input and make a conscious decision, not just our decision.
The only point that I see, which I got confused, I said last time and the time before, that if Matthews has a strategic plan to build another veterans park, then it doesn't make sense to name this one a veterans park. And they already gave the okay, for the beautiful work that's being done so far. So I'm still a little confused about what's the grand strategy here for the town of Matthews. So that's my only point. So I think right now, what you said is good. I don't think we should take until Matthews comes out and says, hey, no, if they said this is the only spot that we're going to have in the town that's going to represent veterans, then that may change my view. But if they say, 2, 3, 5 years down the road, we are going to have a separate veterans park, memorial park, then it doesn't make sense to rename Stumptown. So I guess I just don't know what the people or the commission is working on.
Right.
Yeah, I concur with that, Larry, and I think that's where when they had this meeting on the the 13th or whatever I said it was, that these guys need to state that, you know what, hey, we already have in our plan to establish a park, or no, we don't, and we're going to take this under consideration.
Yeah,
that's on them. It's not on us.
Right.
Why would they consider another park with all the work that American Legion has done on that site at Stumptown? Why not just that corner's Matthews Veterans Memorial at Stumptown? Don't have to rename the whole park. Just call that corner what it is.
Totally agree with you, Jim. I think that was the reason. That was I'm conflicted. Why would they go ahead and put this much effort into the memorial at that park when they have plans to do something else? I think their plans are, 5-10 years out, and maybe a veterans park would be more inclusive of larger activities and not just a memorial. So I don't know. So like I said,
I think we need 2 of them in a town the size of Matthews.
Right.
You have to understand, the town is not who did this. It was the Legion who did this. So
with the town's approval, though.
Right,
The
but
town let them, though.
the town wasn't funding it. So this would be, if it's a separate part, that's the town Parks and Rec funding that, and they may have already had that in their plans, for a future, and then this just popped in. But this is the Legion and they upgraded what was already there.
Exactly. I was just going to mention that. They upgraded something that was there originally, and they really haven't provided us with their strategic plan for a park in the future. And I'm not sure if they're going to do that here on the 13th.
Yeah, I hope they do.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, would you do me us a favor, and remind us on the 12th to tune in on the 13th?
I'll send out an email. Yep, to tune in, and with the website thing or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and send this letter out. I'll polish it up just a little bit, but this is with the remarks from us, not from me, from us as Mvac, for an introduction that we are here, that we are aware of it, and we will take, when Parks and Recreation, we're going to come with one single voice back up to the town of Matthews and the mayor on.
Is that meeting on the 13th? Do you have to register for that, or you can just jump on?
You can jump on, but you have to register if you're going to speak, if you want a speaking role, if you want to make some comments.
Okay.
I'll send that out to you guys also.
Okay.
You have to sign up to speak.
Correct. Anything else on that one, Tanya, since you were the one that sent us out the email originally? I think that was correct.
No, there's nothing else. Just, if you guys are interested in attending and listening to the feedback, you're encouraged to do so.
So I'm going to send this out this tomorrow, and hopefully within the next couple of days, you guys can take a look at it, and then I'm going to register to have a speaking part. I'll talk with Howie, letting him know that we will have a speaking part, and on behalf of the Mvac, these are our comments to each meeting.
Tanya, can I ask you one thing real quick? I keep getting, Lori's keeps bouncing back on the emails that I send her, and so I'm not sure we have her correct email address. Can you give that to me just so I can make sure I have it, because it keeps bouncing back and telling me it's undeliverable.
Yep, it is L. Let me look it up, make sure I don't do wrong.
Make sure I spell it right or something, because maybe I've not got something spelled right.
So it is LC.
I'll tell you what, you can go ahead and do that. You can stay on afterwards, but
Okay.
I'm going to make, if there's no other comments, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn, and those that want to stay on afterwards can continue to talk.
Okay.
You sure can.
Thank you.
That was an excellent, what do you want to call it, moment of reflection. So I appreciate it once again. Thank you, Mark.
Can I add to that a little bit? I wrote this note down a little bit earlier today when we're talking about the 3-year plan, and I'll make this official, but I think the plan should have inclusion of us checking on veterans on an ongoing basis, especially those that we're talking about who have problems coming back from. So I think the plan, it won't have any specific dollar amount mentioned to it, but it could have something that, okay, who have you called today or talked to today? Conversation with veterans. I hope I'm speaking properly, but that's my thought.
We get that, Jack. Thank you. And Peter, you did mention that you found out something about Space Force before we make the motion. So you want to go ahead and say something about that again, please?
Yeah, Space Force is a command that falls under the Air Force. So it's within the Air Force. So it's not a separate branch or department.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I thought it would be something almost like the Army with, UCOM, INSCOM, and that type of thing. It's a command under something else.
They just had their 1-year anniversary.
Perfect. Okay, so
they've been around for years.
We will not look at considering putting a Space Force flag on there. We will just keep it under the Air Force. Thank you, Peter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and with that, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you guys for all your attendance tonight and being
Doug,
Take care.
Doug, we need to do a vote right quick on the motion. Everybody's going to say yes, but we got to do it. Fred?
Yes.
Charlene?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Woo!
Thank you for keeping us
Tanya, I got
involved.
that email.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.